Today we're at Wintergreen Studios, which is an off-grid straw bale lodge which has a lot of educational programs here and is committed to promoting the arts and sustainability in the Kingston-Frontenac region.
Wintergreen Studios is an educational retreat centre, a not-for-profit, just north of Frontenac Park, north of Kingston. And we're situated in the Frontenac Arch Biosphere Reserve, so it's extraordinarily beautiful land. And in the middle of this extraordinary beautiful land, we have this lodge that we call Wintergreen. And today we're filled inside there, if you could see those people, with an entire meeting that has to do with renewable energy and cooperatives that support renewable energy of various kinds.
We target, like the green sacred spaces is an example of one. The people who have come today are people who are either members of Wintergreen Renewable Energy Co-op, or they're people who are interested and supportive of Wintergreen Renewable Energy Co-op. And we're gathering here to hear updates. It's a kind of a retreat for us so that we get a chance to get to know each other and to prepare to make sales of shares in the co-op to people in the Kingston-Frontenac region.
So there is a connection between Wintergreen Studios and the Wintergreen Renewable Energy Co-op, and the name connection is not a coincidence. The idea for the co-op was born at a retreat that happened here in 2011, and it was very much like the one that's happening here today. A whole group of like-minded people sitting together at the table and talking about various things. And on the third day of that retreat, a group of us said, okay, we've talked the talk for a long time, we all agree about what we need to do, let's do something. And so from that, a steering committee was created, and I was a member of that steering committee. And because the idea was born here, we decided to call it, at that time, the Wintergreen Initiative. And when it came time to incorporate, we decided that the name was good enough to keep.
The question you might ask is, why a renewable energy co-op? And related to that, what is a renewable energy co-op? Well, we do see renewable energy being developed around the province. However, a lot of us think that it's important that renewable energy be developed on a community-owned basis. We think that there are opportunities for local residents and citizens to be involved with renewable energy in ownership. They can own a share in renewable energy developments here. And one way that they can do that is to do it in a cooperative. And a cooperative, if you don't have an opportunity to put a microfit on your own property for one reason or another, this gives you a chance to buy into a project that a group of people through the cooperative have taken a share in themselves, and you can benefit from the financial returns of that investment.
It's really valuable to have local ownership of renewable energy projects. So I'm part of the Community Energy Network of Eastern Ontario, and we are working to promote and support new models of ownership across the region. So this co-op, the Wintergreen Renewable Energy Co-op, is one example, and there's several others. And what we're doing this weekend is showcasing some different models to help the Wintergreen Renewable Energy Co-op really get on its feet, build its own membership, network out with the community, learn about some best practices and how can we engage community members. So someone who's coming just sort of in from the outside wondering what is a community co-op, well, from my perspective, it's a way to become engaged in renewable energy where you have a stake and an ownership in a project that's maybe bigger than what you might be able to do on your own property, in your own home.
I think that one of the things that we really need is community-owned energy. There's great opportunities for communities to actually invest and get a good return on their investment, a stable long-term investment over 20 years, which is the length of the OPA contract. Community-owned power to me means that the community actually has to come together, they have to work together, they have to make decisions about how they're going to function together, and it grows community that's much more strong and much more resilient than they would otherwise be. So I believe in cooperatives in general, and to marry wind development and cooperatives together makes sense to me, because as a developer, especially of wind, we have the resources, we have the engineering expertise, we have the science background to partner with a community group. That way the community that wants to have the project will be involved from the ground up.
I think it's important that there are a lot of people who feel like they would like to do something about the kind of environmental challenges and threats that are facing the world, and people have a hard time knowing what they can do. They may have changed the light bulbs in their house to fluorescent, and they may drive a smaller car, but they would like to do more. And a local renewable energy co-op gives people the opportunity to become involved in an ownership way with the actual production of fuels from wind or solar power, which are going to be absolutely required to give us a sustainable functioning economy in the future.
We think of this as a collaboration, bringing everybody together, and it is really important not to have just the same voices in the room, but to have a diversity of representation and going beyond just one retreat. This is just one day, one moment in time here at Wintergreen Studios where we're going to talk and get excited, have a jam session tonight, right? It's all kinds of things that are going to happen. And we love being here at Wintergreen. It's just such an incredible space for it. It's such an incredible day for this type of conversation. But then how do we take it a step further, and how do we go out and reach out beyond these borders and just really connect with people in the community and help give this cooperative and the community energy movement a voice in Eastern Ontario.
The reason that I feel like it's important to be involved in Wintergreen Renewable Energy Co-op is because I'm committed to sustainability on our planet. I operate a farm organically called Forest Farm, and we have our own microfit there, and with the microfit we produce about the same amount of electricity as we use over a year on the farm. We sell it into the grid, but we want to have as light a footprint on the planet as we can. And for me, it's important for us to be able to have opportunities to work with other people in our community to kind of make our own personal statements and be involved in helping to create a better relationship with the natural world. I think that a lot of people want to help us get off carbon-based fuels and get into renewable energy as a source of electricity, and what better way is there to do it than through cooperative ownership of our own projects that we're happy to locate in our own communities.